the mistakes and the flaws in what you do, the more perfect you make it, the less believable it is at a certain point. The more perfect you edit it and the more production values and the glitzier it is, there's a fall off in believability because it looks like everything else they've seen. And it doesn't have that texture of, over the years, I'm just using a number now. Let's say I've had 10,000 speakers or 1,000 speakers. It doesn't make any difference which number is correct. There is a pattern that the slick speakers, the ones that get $40,000 a speech, I paid nobody anything, but the ones that normally Tom Peters or the business speakers or the slick people almost always gave a lousy speech to the audience. The audience didn't like it. These were the ones that were name brand people. They booed Martha Stewart. They booed Dan Tapscott, who's a big guy. They were ready to walk out on Tom Peters. Okay, these are all people who are well known in the circuit, and the people often, not always, but often the people who weren't good speakers or who lost their way sometimes and got back who they felt was genuinely talking to them. And of course, you couldn't read a speech because I didn't have a lectern. And you had to stand right up at the front of the stage. So your crotch was exposed, you were vulnerable. And you couldn't rehearse, I didn't give rehearsal time or a subject. And if I sat on stage to the right behind them and people watched me, I was interested in it too. And if I didn't like it, I would very quietly walk up and stand behind the person.
Oh, Jesus.
I did that a number of times. You ask people who went. I'm not making this up. You can check me out. It's not a story. And people know when you're standing behind them, even if you don't say something. You feel another presence. And their remarks were, I think, almost always was, I think Ricky would like me to bring this to a close. I didn't, if somebody started to sell a book or a product from their company, I would turn off their mic. I had a signal and their mic went off because there was no selling from stage. That included a warning, which got to be very, very testy, to Jane Goodall, who said she would walk out and not give a speech unless she could talk about her charity. I said, people in the audience will really hate me for losing you because they really want the people, they know you're here and they would like you to speak. I didn't advertise anybody coming ever. So they're always surprised when they got there who the speakers were going to be. I never used a shill. I said, but the people know you're here. You're going to speak on the third day. You're on the program now. And they'd be very disturbed if you leave. But I'm telling you, it's my conference. It's my party. And you're not going to sell a charity from the stage. Just give a good speech.